Good morning. So today, the lesson is 7.3, types of law. And so what we're going to do is talk about what is law, and then look at different types of law. So by focusing on eternal law, divine law, natural moral law, and human law. All right, so first, what is the definition of law? So Thomas Aquinas defined law as a command of reason promulgated by a competent authority for the common good. So to break that down, a command of reason, so what that means is a rational expression of God's law and God's purpose. So a command of reason is something that can be rationally explained. It's logically derived, meaning there's a purpose for it. It's not arbitrary. It's not random. Promulgated just means to issue or to announce or to, say, pass legislation. Okay, so competent authority would be any authority that has jurisdiction or that has power over some area or some group. So authority exists at many different levels. So in our country, the highest authority is the president. Here in New Hampshire, the highest authority is the governor. At Trinity High School, the highest authority is the principal. In the classroom, the highest authority is the teacher. And then at home, the highest authority would be your parents. So there are different authorities at different levels of society. The common good is the good that is beneficial to everyone. So it's what's good for everyone. All right. Eternal law. So eternal law refers to all of the laws and so eternal law refers to the order in creation that reflects God's will and purpose. So it's eternal because it's always true and never changing. And so all other laws derive from the eternal law. So the eternal law is sort of the giant umbrella for all the different laws in the universe. And so the eternal law refers to God's purposeful ordering of creation. So this applies to laws affecting the physical world, okay? The way that grass grows, or the way that flowers grow, or the way that our body's biological system functions, the way oxygen is circulated through our lungs and blood and heart and all that. That's one example. And then we have moral laws, which are the laws that govern human behavior. Okay, so those all fall under eternal law. Okay, then we have divine positive law. So divine positive law is God's revelation to humans. Okay, God's revelation to humans. That's the definition. God's revelation to humans. So the examples of this would be in the Old Testament, we have the old law of Moses. Okay, the old law of Moses. And then in the New Testament, we have the new law of the gospel. So the old law of Moses and the new law of the gospel. The purpose of the divine law is to make God's will for humans clear. The purpose is to make God's will for humans clear. So God gives us some very strong hints about what we should do and what we should not do in order that we can be fulfilled. And what fulfills us? Union with God. So God gives us some strong suggestions and clues as to what we need to do in order to love Him properly and to love our neighbor properly. So this is what's part of divine law. Natural moral law. Okay, so natural moral law is the moral law that can be understood through the use of our reason. So it's our natural ability to understand what is right and what is wrong. And so the reason it's called natural is because we are all born with it. So it's our inborn ability to understand right and wrong. All humans are born with the gift of reason, and we use this gift of reason to determine what is right and wrong and to decide between good and evil. So all humans are born with the natural law, and as St. Paul and St. Augustine write, the natural law is inscribed or written in the human heart. So even if you've never read the Bible or gone to church, you still have access to the natural moral law because you have the ability to reason using your intellect. Okay, so the example of, say, the natural moral law would be the Golden Rule. Now, most people associate the Golden Rule with Jesus, and the reason for that is because in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said the Golden Rule. He said, do unto others what you would have them do unto you. So in other words, treat others as you would like to be treated. Now, this is not unique to Jesus. Almost every religion, both in the East and the West, in other words, in all parts of the world, have some variation of this Golden Rule. In Judaism, they have it. Islam, they have it. Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Confucianism, even Native American religions. So the Golden Rule is actually a very common universal moral rule. Okay, and the fact that it's found in all these different religions is evidence of the fact that there is a natural moral law. In other words, people have figured this out using their reasoning. Okay, so it wasn't only Jesus who revealed the Golden Rule. What Jesus is doing is he's affirming the importance and validity of this rule, okay? Because again, all laws are ultimately part of the divine law, eternal law, okay? So that includes the natural law, all right? Okay, human positive law. So human positive law refers to all the laws that humans create themselves. So there are two groups of human positive law. First, we have civil law. So these are laws that our governments and political authorities create. So for example, laws about traffic, speeding, taxes, those all fall under civil laws. Then we have canon law. Canon law is another word for church law. Church law is the various laws that the church has to govern the life of its members. So one example would be not eating meat on Friday during Lent. Okay, that's part of church law. So church law again regulates the actions of the members of the church. Okay, so this affects not just lay members like us, but also priests and bishops and even the Pope. All right, so that's canon law. Okay, so that's all for today, and I'll see you next time.